Friday, the final day of the week. These are the voyages of the program Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Its ongoing mission to explore strange new movies, to seek out new bits and new edifications, to boldly go where no radio program has gone before. Oh, Elkins Movie Club. It's Elkins Movie Club. Elkins Movie Club. It's Elkins Movie Club.
It is indeed El Kent's Movie Club. Today we are talking about Tombstone. Hello, Kent.
Hello.
How are you?
What's up? I'm good. I'm having a lovely afternoon. I'm sort of watching the Masters here.
Look at you.
Oh,
We're also sort of watching the Masters.
nice.
We are kind of sort of watching the Masters. It's a lovely day out, Kent.
Yes, it is. And
Can I
I will, as soon as we are done, I will be going outside. But
Nice.
Yeah, I
I
avoid
thought
that
it
at
would
all
be
costs.
good to actually do this inside. You know?
Yeah, I avoid that at all costs. So let me ask you this. What is your favorite combination of movies that came out at similar times about similar type of topics?
Oh, fun.
What's your favorite? Is this the best one? Is this your favorite one? Was it the B movie and Ants? What's your favorite? of
Deep
the
Impact
ones-
and Armageddon.
and Armageddon.
No, it was Ants and A Bug's Life.
Bugs Life. Thank you. Yes.
Let me think about that. Are those my choices? Or
Well, there's more too. I remember.
Madagascar, Into the Wild. I remember that one.
There's more too. I can find the list, but I remember thinking that when this came out, and I went to go see Wyatt Earp first, which is a long movie.
How long is that movie? I was listening
3
to the
hours?
rewatchables. Oh, my gosh.
I think it's 3. Is it 3?
3 hours.
Yeah, it's 3 hours, and it's a long movie. And it's shot incredible. And then you go to Tombstone, which is just boom, 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 fast,
Yeah,
fun.
especially the last hour.
Yeah. And so they're completely different movies.
Mhm.
But I always tie them together. That's what I was kind of thinking.
I remember Kent, Deep Impact and Armageddon.
Entertaining.
Yeah, I remember Kent, Deep Impact and Armageddon came out the same summer when I was a kid. And they also
Same stuff.
were at McDonald's and Burger King. Like that thing truly felt like you're making the same movie and it's just going to be sponsored by different
And
things.
one was very serious in Deep Impact, and
That was Deep
Armageddon had a lot more jokes and was fun
yeah,
stuff.
I saw Deep Impact way before I saw Armageddon.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
love Tila Noli. Woohoo!
Yeah. We are talking about Tombstone. Now, it's funny. We picked this last week, and John was like, yeah, and I've never seen it. I can't wait to watch it, and we'll talk about it. John's not here today. He's driving back from Kansas City. But he did watch it. What did he say, Michael, on Monday? It seemed like he thought it was fine.
I think he thought it was fine, which
Yeah.
I don't ever think of this movie as being fine.
Yeah.
It's just not a fine movie.
Well, I feel bad because I also thought it was fine.
Wow.
I guess that makes 3 of us that think this movie
Are
was
you
fine.
gonna-
Wow,
Are you
that's
gonna have to
crazy.
whoop all of our asses?
That is just
Michael?
crazy. I think we're gonna throw in hands after this
Yeah.
is over.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Kent, because I don't understand how somebody can say this movie is fine.
I'll give you my reasons. Tombstone is a great Western story about people moving to a town and wanting to retire, but not really retire at all. And there's a lot of gunfights and a lot of shooting.
Pew pew.
And one of the most famous memes of all time that I didn't know was in this movie when the guy goes, well, bye. I've
Yeah,
seen
well,
that on the internet
bye.
a million times since I was in college, and I got to finally watch the movie. I think, and I don't mean to just go right to my thoughts on the end of the movie or everything, but just thought it turned into just like a bunch of shoot 'em up. And
That's literally what happened
there's like no story.
in
It's
the
just like,
real
shoot,
story.
shoot, shoot,
He
shoot,
spent
shoot,
the
shoot,
next
shoot.
18 months just killing
I
people.
know. It's just,
That's what he did.
I'm like, wow, this
it's
is
a lot longer, by the way, in Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
It goes for longer.
I was like, I don't know. It just turned into lots of shooting, and it didn't seem like any real character development. And that's not to say it wasn't boring or that it was boring. It wasn't boring. It was an entertaining movie. I just, it was fine. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Kent.
Oh, I really like this. I'm a real fan of this movie, and I was from the first day I saw it.
Yeah.
Little amusing, I guess, backstory, perhaps. I saw it we used to have, when the Douglas Theater Company was still around, who had theaters in Lincoln and Omaha.
Yeah.
They were a large enough exhibitor that we'd get trade screenings that came in here, right? that would be like 2 or 3 weeks before the movie opened, because that's how they used to get the pictures to exhibitors to see if they wanted to play them or how many of them they wanted to play, whatever. Well, went to Tombstone. I thought it was great. It was a Disney film in their Touchstone division.
Okay.
And I thought it was great, entertaining, all of that. And sat down, wrote a review, and then it turned out they didn't do any press screenings for it anywhere. Uh-oh. Really? Because I wasn't really supposed to be at those trainings.
Oh, wow. So did you literally put it in the paper?
Yep.
Wow. Oh, look at Kit.
I got a little call from Disney. How'd you see this movie?
That's awesome.
I love Kent stories.
Yeah, Kent stories are great.
You're incredible.
Especially when they're told by Nick Ba. you remember when... Hey, Kit, let me ask you a question. Where is he?
Where is who?
Down by the creek, walking on water. That line is one of my favorite lines in the movie. And if it's coming up to that point, I'm watching it all the way to that point.
You watch it all the way to the end.
And when he says, what are you doing here, Doc? He goes, Wyatt's my friend. Because I got plenty of friends. I don't. And I consider that to be myself.
Yep. You know, interestingly, not that part of it, but a lot of the Doc Holliday dialogue was taken literally from Doc Holliday.
Yeah, from autobiography. Yeah.
Yeah, Ken, I was listening to the rewatchables about the movie this morning, and apparently the Doc Holliday line before he dies is reportedly what he said. Absolutely. Which, like, how did they? So who was in the room? Like, how did they?
Probably a nurse, I'm assuming, at the place.
That's wild. That's absolutely wild.
And the movie was written really, really, really accurately, and probably would have run 3 hours, just like the other one.
Right.
But it became clear that it was also kind of a mess the way it was written. The writer who was also going to direct, named Kevin, I believe, Jarre, got booted, and he got replaced by the guy who had directed Rambo First Blood Part 2.
No, which is a great movie.
However, the long time rumor that has largely been confirmed is that Kurt Russell basically directed the movie.
Oh, I could see that. I see that. He was obviously the lead. The best part of it that is that Kurt Russell's like 5'8" and Doc Holliday's like 6'5".
Yeah.
they tried to shoot him long because he's a long drink of water, right? They tried to shoot him long. Like, he's not shooting Kurt Russell long. He's just not going to happen.
Too little.
He's a little dude. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
And the mustaches, all real. They all grew those mustaches.
Cool.
One of the things, again, that I learned.
What I liked about the brothers is you could tell which brother was which based off of the length of their mustache or how bushy it was.
Yeah.
The younger brother was just starting. Yeah. Kurt Russell's was a little long. And then Sam Elliott's is Sam Elliott's.
Long. Yeah.
Movie is loaded with people from the era. We've already talked about Kurt Russell. Obviously, Val Kilmer. Do you think he steals the show, Kent? Does Val Kilmer kind of, absolutely owns this movie?
Owns the movie.
He was my favorite part about this entire
movie. The movie.
Very funny, delivers a lot of good lines, and he always is kind of doing it with that wry smile. And
he talks with that Georgian kind of like, I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah. And I didn't realize.
It's not saying Huckleberry, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's not. It's actually, there's a different word. Did you see that?
No.
It was a big controversy about that.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were joking around.
I watch movies with closed captioning.
Yeah.
It said Huckleberry.
I know.
Does Ken know the answer to this question? Are you sure?
I know the answer to that.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a big controversy about it.
I think this is Val Kilmer's best performance.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Real genius, baby. What are you talking about? Come on, man. Come on, man. What are you talking about? Real genius is the best movie.
By the way, I have no clue what we're laughing about. But
Duncan says he's on record saying he said Huckleberry, not Hucklebearer.
You thought it was Huckle. That's what they said it was written in the script.
And he said Hucklebearer, but he said Huckleberry instead.
Because it's going in the person who carries the coffin.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to have been in the script. But
he said it the other way.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that he was going to, oh, yeah, sure enough, just got a text. The term is hucklebearer. They got it wrong in the movie. He says huckleberry, but hucklebear is on the term for pallbearer.
Yeah, and it's actually in the script, yeah.
So he just said it wrong, and it's become an iconic line because multiple times since we have referenced this movie when we picked it last week, we have gotten emails that said, like this from David, I'll be your huckleberry. So everybody's saying that. But I didn't realize, Kent, that he was going to show up at the end of the movie like he did. I thought that was going to be Kurt Russell's character because he's all sickly and seems like he's about to meet his maker.
Yeah.
But no, he shows
The
up.
TB. It was TB,
They
right?
sent everybody to Colorado back then for tuberculosis, because light air.
This is a million-year-old movie. Here's a spoiler alert.
Okay.
In reality, Doc Holliday did not kill Johnny Ringo.
He did not kill him standing. Oh, he did not kill Johnny Ringo. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Who killed Johnny Ringo?
They think Wyatt Earp. It wasn't a
Shootout.
mano a mano thing.
Oh, okay. Okay. But when he says the line, well, Johnny, it looks like somebody just walked across your grave. That's good enough right there. Let's just keep that in the movie. We'll have them fight here. Yes. Yeah. Play for blood.
Chris wants to know, he says, can you ask Kent if it's true Kevin Costner and Kurt Russell were originally supposed to do this film together? Rumor is they had a dispute and Costner went off and made the terrible Wyatt Earp movie.
That's not terrible.
That's what he said, his words, not mine.
Long.
You know, I have read that, but I've also read that it was more, there were the two competing movies out there, right? And they were going to try to not make two movies and therefore had to bring those two together, and then it never really got much farther than that.
This is like the story about Beat It when they were going to have Prince and Michael Jackson perform together.
Yeah.
And the first line was, your butt is mine. And Prince was like, we're not doing the song.
That ain't happening.
Another text coming in. I wonder if there's a generational discussion to be had here.
I believe there is.
Dave says 39 years old, watched Tombstone in full for the first time 2 years ago. It's corny as hell. So I wonder if maybe I went in with too much hype.
I don't find it to be corny.
I didn't find it corny at all. My biggest issue with Tombstone is the pacing. It felt really jerky.
Thank you.
Because like the beginning, it was slow, but that's a setup, of course.
That's fine. I like this is another movie, Kent. I like the first hour way more than the second hour.
Me too.
I think it seemed like an actual story.
Remember how this felt. This happened. They had the feud. Yeah. The sheriff was actually killed. And then over the course of about 6 hours, all this happened. Like the shootout, all that happened. And that's how they kind of made it. If you go back and go watch Wyatt Earp, it's much longer. Sure. It's drawn out to get to that point. That's why it's 3 hours.
But I didn't have a problem with that. It was so much like, and then I couldn't tell if they were jumping ahead months or weeks at a time at some points. And then the very end after
You mean after Morgan was killed?
Yeah. And then at the very end, before Val Kilmer's character, Doc Holliday, they do that weird montage, and the montage itself felt like a trailer or a preview. It felt so disconnected from the movie. It was just like pew 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 everywhere.
Yeah,
I wanted a little more.
When they were running
character development.
Like I said, they did it quickly, whereas Wyatt Earp took time to kill the Red Sash.
Yeah, they're like
what that really was I told you they cut that movie significantly from what was written. That's where the cuts all happened.
Yeah, you could tell.
Cut all that out and just revved it up as an action movie, basically, at the for that last 40 minutes or whatever it was. That's where that came from.
It was sorry.
Do you have a movie that you've watched a lot of times that you fell in love with because you watched it so much? iRobot's going to give you an example. The first time I saw it in the theater.
I love iRobot.
The theater, I didn't think it was great. And then since then, I really like it.
Grew on you,
I think the fact that I've seen Tombstone 100 times.
Yeah.
I think that's part of my feeling. Yeah, and I don't think I'm as flaws. I just think I'm part of it being an incredible movie.
Part of the charm for you.
Well, I think it's important to note here. That's what happened with Tombstone. Is it was an okay box office movie. I mean, it did all right, but it didn't blow the doors off.
Yeah.
Wyatt Earp was a box office flop.
Yep. Too long.
So Tombstone was one of those movies that ended up on TV every day.
TBS.
Right? There was, I think, it's hard to like remember in a way back pre-streamers and all of that. There were, 20, 30 movies that just ran every TNT, TBS,
Shawshank.
all, bang, bang, bang. And it turned into this like cult or not cult, like really popular movie,
Right.
And back to your one other thought here
Mhm.
about the way the movie plays, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is the last of the really old style traditional westerns.
Mm-hmm.
They made a few in the last 10 or 15 years, but in that era, remember this came right after Unforgiven.
Unforgiven winning the Academy Award, yeah.
Right? So here's this serious, dark film, no cowboy heroes, right?
Right.
Then there's this movie, which is kind of marks the end of that previous era. And then even the Wyatt Earp movie that followed it was a much more serious film. And so that's part of how it plays and part of why you guys may not like it.
What about the incredible The Quick and the Dead? What about that? I mean, that was a incredible filmatic masterpiece.
Oh yeah, but it wasn't a traditional Western.
Oh my God, they have like a lot of shots from in the gun,
Yeah,
like and then going through the person in the hole inside of them.
Yes.
It is so crazy.
Great Sharon Stone as well.
Yes, great Sharon Stone, and like it was like somebody was in college. Remember when you were in college and you were trying out the mixer for the first time, and you just do a bunch of weird stuff, or the Adobe. That's how it was. They're like, what can we do with this movie? Can we slow something down? Can we flip it over? And that's what they do with the movie, Quick and the Dead.
I'm trying to think of what my favorite Western even is.
God,
I don't even know.
Unforgiven is so good.
I don't even know what the answer is. It's an old black and white movie that the whole movie is like 24, where it's supposed to be shot in real time. What movie is that? Something to Noon?
High Noon?
High Noon. We watched that in college. I like that one.
Gary Cooper.
I like
Cooper's High Noon.
I like
Gary
the
Cooper.
remake of 310 to Yuma. I watched that one.
Not bad. It's not bad.
I like that one as well. I think sometimes I like the idea of Westerns more than I like Westerns.
I like a lot
So
of them.
when I did watch this movie last night, it made me want to watch There Will Be Blood again, which is not so much a traditional Western, but it is, I would say, Western adjacent.
Top 5 movies of all time.
We just got a call from Alex who said his favorite Western is The Proposition, who he was sure Kent has seen.
I've never seen The Proposition.
I haven't seen that.
That would be a good movie club choice at some point.
Really?
Yeah.
How old is that movie, Kent?
I don't know.
2005.
I was going to say 10 years, and it's 20 years. Of course. I never know when movies came out.
What's the one that had young Kevin Costner, Kevin Kline, Danny Glover?
Yeah.
What's that? I love that one. Silverado. I think that's a really good movie, a good Western.
A
lot of stars.
The one, and once again, this is if you want to go contemporary-ish Westerns rather than horse operas, right? Hell or High Water from 10 years ago.
Such a great movie.
When we had Shafe in one time, he brought that movie up a couple of times. Because
who
who directed that, Kent? Somebody that we, I think, have done a recent movie of directed Hell or High Water. I think that's why that movie came up.
I can't remember who.
It's the Spanish name guy, right?
Yep. Boy, I can't remember who.
No, David McKenzie did
really?
Hell or High Water. What else did David McKenzie do that we did?
It was it may have had something to do with the actors, not
him so much.
This is the movie you give to somebody. Like somebody says, "Hey, it's one movie that in the last 20 years that I haven't seen. You tell them to go see this one." And almost everybody I know loves it.
Hell or High Water.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a movie when you were talking about a movie that you watched over and over and over.
Taylor Sheridan screenplay. That's what it was.
Taylor Sheridan. Yeah.
That's one that I saw it in the theater, and this was once again pre-streaming by a little bit.
Right.
And so when it came out on demand, I bought it and I watched it like 5 times in a week. That's how much I like that movie.
Really
Wow.
good. Yep.
That's like what I did, Michael, when Lord of the Rings came out on DVD. I watched that like every day for a whole week. You love Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that wasn't even the director's cut.
No,
You watched
it's
the
just-
theatrical
Well,
version.
Nick, it was 2002. I didn't have access to it yet.
Get access.
Producer Josh asks,
That was sad just now.
question for the fine boys. Built up too much, everyone tells you it's great, and you watch it expecting greatness, and you get fined. I do think that definitely played a part, which I hate being that guy. Like, that's how Bishop is about Office Space, where everyone told him it was funny, and then he didn't think it was very funny. So I don't like being the person who was like, yeah, everyone said it was really good.
And,
Because
like-
I can usually go in with an open mind, but there definitely was a lot of hype.
I actually,
But I think what Nick said, I think I liked the first hour more than the second hour.
I went in blind. I didn't have any expectations for this movie.
Yeah.
And like it was the pacing that got me.
Yeah.
Like I would have been fine if the whole movie was just like they could have made it longer, but if the whole movie was just the big shootout, the interaction thing, and then it kind of cut out a bunch of the stuff in the middle, and then guy died, and then that was the end of the movie. I would have been fine with that.
Yeah, you think it's a little long?
No, I think it's perfect.
You like the scene, the opera stuff?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Because that flows through the whole movie up until the point where he's killed, and then that's when Jason Priestley's like, "I'm out of here because you killed my guy that I loved."
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of fits in the whole thing. No, and I think that I also loved the show China Beach,
Mm-hmm.
and the redhead lady. She was in China Beach.
Dana Delaney?
Oh, Dana Delaney.
And
My wife always said that's a woman I love more than her.
And what's the drug? What's the drug that the woman is doing in this movie?
It's opium.
Just opium.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she's doing liquid. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Laudanum, they called it. Yeah.
Opium derivative. Weird little factoid.
Yeah.
The guy who played Billy, was that his name, that walked away because the guy?
Yeah, that's Billy. Yep.
You know who that is? That's
Jason-
Wyatt Earp III.
What?
Yeah, the actor is a distant cousin of Wyatt Earp, and his actual full name is Wyatt is actually his middle name, but he changed his acting name. He's Wyatt Earp III.
Hmm.
I always thought that was Jason Priestley. That's not him?
Uh-uh.
Oh, I always thought that was Jason Priestley.
There you go. Andy
just like
writes,
him.
this was not a good movie club. There are some good podcasts about the making of Tombstones that are good. They wore time period accurate wool suits during summer in Arizona. Look, I'm sorry. Sometimes you don't love a movie.
Yeah.
And I guess, maybe Kent Michael talking about it would have been better for
I think it's
everybody.
okay to appreciate and respect a movie, but you don't have to love it if you appreciate and respect it.
Yeah, everybody has their opinion about movies.
I
There's
think
a lot
I'll
of movies I don't like.
I'll probably give it 3.5 stars on Letterboxd
Out of 5?
Out of 5, 3.5. It's solid. It's still a solid grade. I'm not giving it 2
that's
stars.
pretty solid grade.
I'm giving it 2 stars.
It's one of my favorites.
One of your all-time.
Yeah, I will definitely watch it every time I go by it on TV.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife will too. We'll watch it together. Yeah, we both love it.
And also, I mentioned this yesterday, Kent, but I'm watching this movie, and there is a character that shows up, and I'm like, I know that voice. Who the hell is that? And I can't figure it out. So I just open up IMDb, and I'm scrolling through the list of actors. And this movie, again, absolutely loaded with people. And finally, I stumble upon the name Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah,
He looks way different
know
back
that.
then.
He's heavy.
He's heavier.
He's heavy.
It's all in his face.
Also,
mad
he
cat.
was 22, I think. I think that might be his first or second movie. I mean, he's only in it for 2 or 3 minutes. You know?
And he,
Long enough to get slapped around.
oh, you madcap, you! Oh, I forgot you were there.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it when he showed up. So that's Tombstone. Sorry to everybody who loved this movie, and Nick and I thought it was,
It was fine. I really liked Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer was my favorite part of this movie.
He's great.
Awesome.
And we talked about this a little bit last week when I was in with the guys. Most people think he won, Best Supporting Actor. He didn't even get nominated, but that year was such a great Best Supporting Actor crew.
Yeah, he didn't even get, which was stunning that he didn't get a nomination for that, really.